project. So therefore, I would like to invite our moderator, our honorable moderator, Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Zabidi, who is also the Deputy Dean of the Social and Advanced Happiness Research Cluster. So the floor is yours, Dr. Zabidi.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and very good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Madam Puan Valerie, for the welcoming speech. Welcome to the researchers sharing session, how to remain productive and motivated. Okay, this session has been organized by the Research Cluster Office and as a casual sharing session, as mentioned by Puan Valerie, for the researchers to discuss, as a casual sharing session for the researchers to discuss and share the challenges and possible solution for researchers in this time of the COVID-19 pandemic. The objective of this session is an the outbound solution to do research in the current situation. Okay, first, let me introduce myself. My name, Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Zabidi Abdul Razak, Deputy Dean Research Cluster, Social Investment and Happiness. And also, I'm from Faculty of Education, Department of Education and Management Planning and Policy. And we are lucky this afternoon because we got four honorable researchers that they want to share with us their experience during this COVID-19. So this afternoon, I will be responsible as a moderator for this session, and I'm glad to welcome our respected panelists to this session. Then before the presentation begins, allow me to introduce our four esteemed panelists. First one is Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati Zainal from Faculty of Built Environment. Second one, yes, with us now, we can see a Professor Dr. Moy Fong Ming, Faculty of Medicine. Thank you, Prof, for joining us this afternoon. Third, Professor Dr. Rameshti Subramaniam from Faculty of Science. And then last but not least, yes, with us as well, Dr. Noshamimi Nur Rashid from Faculty of Medicine as well. Okay, we got four panelists with us. They are very happy to share their experience during this pandemic with us this afternoon. And this session, our panelists will be given around 10 minutes to share the challenges they face and how they overcome it in these unprecedented times. Once all the panels are finished share their respective experiences, we will begin a Q&A session. Okay, yeah. So without further ado, I would like to welcome the first panel to share her experience. Are you ready, Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati?
I'm not so sure why my
because actually I just based on the name listed name given to me. So yeah, of course we got the Professor Moy and Professor Ramesh as well. But this is the list that given to me. So I just read based on the list given to me. But I think actually this is just what we call open discussion, casual session. So either we want to start with Professor Moy or Professor Ramesh, or either with Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati or Dr. Shamimi as well. It is open actually. It's not too formal. Okay. So is it?
Can I start first?
Oh, Dr. Shamimi wants to start first. Okay. All right. Yep. That's good. Okay. Okay. Now, so we start with Dr. Shamimi Nur Rashid from Faculty of Medicine. So the floor is yours, Dr. Shamimi. So yeah, you can start your sharing your experience during this pandemic 19. Please,
Okay.
the floor is yours. Thank you, Dr. Shamimi.
Thank you, Dr. Ahmad Zabidi, Associate Prof. Dr. Mazi for a kind introduction. But before that, can I share my slide? Is it okay if I share my slide?
Can, Dr. Shamimi, because I don't share anything.
Okay.
Okay.
I share now, okay? I share screen first. Okay, can't you see my PowerPoint now?
No. Yes.
Are you seeing my PowerPoint?
Yep. Yep. Make it.
Okay, so
Okay. Can. Yep. Hmm.
so now are you seeing the first page of my PowerPoint?
Yes.
With intestine. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon, everyone. So I'm happy to be here. So with this pandemic going on, and now we are in the MCO 3.0. Okay, and I know that all of us we are so stressed with this situation, especially we are researchers that we stagnant. Okay, with the progress that we have at the moment. So before we go further, I just briefly would like to introduce you my group. So I belong to this group. They are all an experts in their field, and what we've been doing is we looking into certain gatekeeper genes in the colorectal cancer cell lines, and we try to target them with the potential compounds from mengkudu. So this is basically what we've been doing, that we do the extraction and isolation of the compounds, and then a bit of the computational studies, in silico studies, and then a big chunk of it, it involves wet lab. Okay, so it's a lab-based work. And in this group, we have two students. One is PhD student and another one is master students. So obviously with this lockdown, the students and we, the PI, the supervisors, become very stressed because we cannot go to the lab, we cannot perform our lab work. So our work is just stagnant there. So but I think this is a once in a lifetime experience, because this is a once in a lifetime experience that, you know, we've been quarantined at home. We cannot go have a meeting face to face. We cannot go have a tea time with our peers or colleagues. But all we can do is just stay at home. Okay, but I think there's also a good thing about this, because we now we stay at home, and we have other time to do for other things. Okay, so even though now we think that we cannot progress, especially for the our research, but we have to look into the different aspect of the research. Okay, so I want to talk about this. In this IRG grant, we also have other outputs that we have to fulfill. So for instance, we have this, the first one is a publication. I think this is the right time for us to sit down and then getting to write down the manuscript. If let's say that we have enough data to publish as a research paper, then we have time to do that. Or if not, that, you know, we can start write up a mini review regarding our project. Because before this, during our normal time, I think that it's difficult for us to sit down and really focus to do the writing. Okay, and then secondly, we can start to think about to do the IP or patenting application. So now you have more time to do that at home, you know, and when you're at home, you can discuss with your peers or your colleagues and your team, with the students as well, whether that your project is worth to do the IP application or patent. And if let's say that now you have the data that you have, you see the potential, I think now is the right time for you to do the IP application, because now you can focus more on this. And then in terms of the human capital development, so this is our students. So obviously that our students, they become much more stressed because they cannot perform their lab work, and so that they think that they cannot be productive at all, and because of that they become less motivated. Okay, so I think now is the time that, you know, we keep in touch with them, and then maybe we can have every month Google Meet with them to start their writing on the thesis. Okay, and then with the publication as well. Okay, and another thing that if let's say that we don't have much data to publish, maybe we can start to write up for book chapters, for instance. Yeah, because we can focus on this. We can do the reading, and then we can start to write up for book chapters or book perhaps. Okay, we can have a meeting together with our IIG group, yeah, with the team, the online session, and then we can meet and discuss whether we can start write up for a book or book chapters, for instance. Yeah, and another thing is we also have the non-academic output. Yeah, so this non-academic output, for instance, we have the society engagement, and then we have the website, we have the media article, and then the commercialization. Okay, so for this society engagement, I think we can have online webinar. Okay, for instance, our group that we had our webinar, and we do a collaboration with a NanoCat, and then we invite speakers from other universities, and I think it's a fruitful webinar that we have. And from there, we start the collaboration as well. And then in terms of website, maybe we can get active with a Facebook, or maybe you can write a newspaper article regarding your project, and this is a means for you to promote your research as well. Okay, and another thing is when you obtain this IIRG grant, it also means that it's strongly encouraged for you to apply for a new grant. Yeah, so for this to apply for a new grant, I think this is the right time to do it. And now we have so many application from grant application from national and international. So we can write up the application now, and we can start to look for a collaboration, yeah, from the different public university, different private university, or industries. Okay, so for instance, that now our grant, we have start to apply a new grant for this project, and we also has started a collaboration with Mardi, and also from the Indonesia. So I think with this little progress, then we from there that we will become more motivated. So I think there is something that we can do besides performing the wet lab. So I think that's all that I can share at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Noshamimi, for the creative idea that you shared with us. So later we will open for the Q&A. Maybe they will ask you in detail about your study and also about your finding of your study as well. Okay, otherwise, so thank you very much, Dr. Noshamimi. It's very good presentation. Yeah. Okay, so our next presenter, yeah, I think Professor Dr. Moy already ready from the beginning of this session. I think the best way we give opportunity to Professor Dr. Moy Fong Ming from Preventive Medicine Department to share her experience during this pandemic 19 as well. Okay, Prof, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Let me share my slides.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my slides?
Can, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the kind introduction. So I would also like to thank the Cluster Dean for giving me the opportunity to share my experience. So I think Dr. Shamimi actually has mentioned most of what we are doing, but I will just go through again. So just a brief introduction about myself. I come from the Faculty of Medicine, Department of Social Preventive Medicine. So I teach epidemiology, evidence-based medicine, and research methods. Besides teaching, I'm also a coordinator of the Master of Public Health program. My research interest is in lifestyle risk factor, obesity, and NCD. So my research is basically public health research, which we do some lab work, but not that much. Most of our studies are questionnaire based. Okay, so the current grant that I have is one of it is the IRG, where we are developing and testing the usability and effectiveness of a mobile diet apps. So this app will be used to monitor what we eat, all right? So I'm the principal investigator, and in collaboration with Prof. Lu Chu Kiong from Department of AI, Faculty of Computer Science and Information Technology, as well as Dr. Fazila Hanum binti Muhammad Maidin from the Department of Primary Care Medicine, Faculty of Medicine. Besides IIRG, I also have newly acquired FRGS grant. So this grant is about palm oil related dietary biomarkers. So we wanted to find out whether it's associated with obesity and cardiovascular risk among adult population. So this involves lab work. So for these two projects, the first project is not affected so much during the MCOs, but this FRGS grant, because half of it is working on biomarkers, so that part is greatly affected. Okay, so I can understand if researchers are solely working on lab work, they will be very stressed because they and their RAs cannot enter the labs. So yeah, I think that's why this session is for about lah. Okay, so during these various phases of movement control, we still are lucky to continue with data collection. We from face-to-face data collection or introducing the projects, or when my co-investigator wanting to do face-to-face focus group discussion, because of MCO, we cannot gather the respondents. So we have to use online interview or online group discussion. So when we use online method, the responses may not be so good because not everybody like to do online discussion. But we still managed lah. So that was good for that. Yeah, because IRG, one of the KPI is for patent and trademark. The KPI is to deliver patent and so on. So we actually prepared for patent and trademark application, and this is going on very well. We can work from home, right? So another important factor is our GRAs, our RAs, or our master or PhD students. When during the normal times, they come to the department, you see them, and then actually you talk to them, and then they actually share their problems with you. And when we are all working from home, if I don't contact them, they won't contact me unless they have questions. So sometimes I wonder what they are doing. So because we cannot be, we may be busy with other things. We may forget to communicate with them. So I said, I informed my GRAs or RAs that we will have weekly meeting to brief on what they are doing. Even though they are not doing data collection, at least I want to know whether they are progressing with their thesis writing, at least in literature review or in methods or they can start writing about some manuscript. So if we don't meet, I also request them to give a weekly report. So at least they are on their toes, and then we know whether they are working or not. If they are not working, then we will have to push them a bit harder, because they are not only working on our project, they are also working on their either master's or PhD. All right. So of course, meeting with your collaborators. So we try to meet at least once a month to go through. So so this is, I already mentioned. And then because during this period, a lot of things cannot be done, so we need to think out of the box. So probably we may want to consider different methods or new technology in the research. We actually can tweak the objective a bit if you cannot do lab work, all right? So maybe you can have an objective that you want to look at the qualitative aspect of some opinion and all, so that at least you can do during this time. And we can, I mean, if we cannot work on the existing project, probably we can open to new ideas, solution or situation, or you can think about new research topics, and try looking for new research collaborators from other faculties that give us more ideas. Of course, besides writing systematic review papers or writing book chapters and so on. So for me, the IIRG grant actually is still running, but the FRGS grant, half of it is on lab work and the other half is on following up with the research participants. So we still could do slowly using phone calls or SMS. So, but it is slower than us going to see the participants. Okay, so but at least we are not. It is not like we are not 100% productive, but at least we still can produce some work during this difficult time. All right, and actually now I also have started my latest project that is on long COVID. I just want to advertise a bit. If you yourself are a recovered COVID-19 patient, or your family members or friends, you are invited to this survey, which we have shown the link and the QR code. That's how I occupied my time during this MCO when I have to work from home, besides teaching and doing the admin work as a MPH program coordinator. Thank you. That's all I have to share. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Moy, for sharing this very valuable information for us, especially for the 4 points, thinking out of the box. And also, I'm very, interesting the way that Prof. Moy takes the opportunity to share her latest study as well. This is the way when we are during this COVID pandemic, we need to find what is the best way. Even though this is very simple, but yeah, we can get the idea from Dr. Prof. Moy. With this opportunity, just grab it. Okay, so thank you very much again, Prof. Moy, for sharing your available information with us. Okay, so next we go to the third presenter or third panels from this session. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Rameshti Subramaniam from Department of Physics, Faculty of Science. Okay, Prof, the floor is yours, Prof.
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear my voice?
Can, Prof.
Okay, let me introduce myself. I'm Rameshti Subramaniam from Faculty of Science. I'm attached to Center of Ionics, University of Malaya, and we work on a lot of energy materials for different kind of electrochemical devices. Okay, this sharing session, when I contacted the IEEE, they said no need to prepare any slides. So actually, I didn't prepare any slides, but I'm more than happy to share with you all the best practices or the practices for me look like good. So the practices that I do in my lab, and also some of the suggestions that I'm planning to do, and also it will be a good what do you call like value added for your practice too. Okay, the first one that I can tell the best practices we can do during the pandemic, because I just saw the numbers today. The number of cases are more than 9,000. So we are not anywhere near to what I call like to end this pandemic and go back and start our work as usual. So it might like will go until the end of the year or whatever. We're not sure. Okay, what we can do. So some of the practices that I do, like I always encourage my students, even myself, to attend free webinars and seminars. Currently, we see means there are many free webinars and seminars advertised, but as a what do you call like our the role of the supervisors to find these kind of webinars and share with the lab members and the students so that they also can attend. So recently, one of the very good forum that I got the invitation, the LG Energy Solution Innovation Forum 2021. This is organized by the South Korean company. So I asked my students to attend this seminar. So a lot of good new knowledge, how to prepare like a good slides and all these things were what they call like taught. And then we must always look for self-development opportunities. So another course also just recently we just got the invitation like on nanosensors. So I also encourage my lab members to attend this free training and learning. So last times a lot of trainings and webinars and seminars are by charge. So now a lot of things are like a free kind of training. So we must grab these kind of opportunities. So we always must look into it. The next one I can also like share with you all is a participation in virtual exhibitions. So like my group also, now time we used to go like Pachipta, MT, and all these things. But now a lot of virtual exhibition and entrance fees also not too expensive, like a few hundred. But we can do like a recording of our product. Then we can share in this kind of exhibition. Besides we getting the award if our product is good, it also will reach other researchers and people. And sometimes this virtual exhibition recorded product of ours, they also advertise in the YouTube. So this will become like a good advertising market for our research. The next one I can also share with you all is regarding the virtual internship. When I say it's a virtual internship, there are some students from the overseas who cannot come to our country. So what we can do, we can give them some, provide some results, we can provide some graphs. So ask them to interpret and ask them to come up with some review article. So by doing this, without they coming to our country, we can still virtually can do some internship with some collaborative partners from overseas. The next one I also can share is regarding the creative graphical abstract. So what we can do, we can ask our students to come out with a creative graphical abstract of their research work. So this either we can use for our talk or website. So I notice in some of the prominent researchers, when they put their publication in their official website, they not only put their publication, they also will come together with a graphical abstract together with the publications. So that will be like some kind of attraction for the people to go and look into the papers in detail. The other very interesting thing that we can do during this time is write review papers. As we know, review papers we can get in the KPI. At the same time, review papers will contribute for us with plenty of citation. The citation can be increased by writing the review papers. So what we can do, and some more our universities also accept one review paper for the student to graduate for PhD students. So we can give them some new topics related to their research work and give them some outline, and we can ask them to write a review paper So by writing their review papers, we also can have the opportunities to read more on the work. And then obviously, I also do like a group meeting once a month. In the group meeting, one of my idea is, since now they don't have many results because cannot go to the lab. So what I do, the group meeting will have like a different kind of a presentation, like a literature review, tutorials, or recreational presentations. When we say about the literature review, that means student will review some papers and whatever, and they'll come up with the comments and some argument and present based on that particular paper. When I say it about tutorials means, for example, just say like an impedance spectroscopy. So how to conduct the impedance spectroscopy, what kind of results you can abstract from that, how can you plot the appropriate graphs. So all these things one student can learn and present in the group meeting. The other one, recreational presentation, what I mentioned here is more like very casual things. They can talk anything, anything. Like for example, they can talk about why jogging is important, for our health, or even can discuss with us about the beauty of yoga, or why they like to travel for different countries. So anything they can talk. So this will make the group meeting also interesting, and all these things we can do in online. And the other things also I encourage my student is to learn new skill. So when they talk about the new skill means some kind of like a new analytical techniques which they can learn from the YouTube. So this will be like a good training for them. And this also they can share with us during the group meeting. And the other one I also can suggest here is doing the pending publications. Sometimes we do have some kind of good papers, like our final year project students or something like that, might not be for Q1 or Q2, but it's sufficient for Q3 or Q4. So we do not have times to complete these papers. Now we can take back these papers and can look into it to improve it and make it a good write-up, and we can try to publish this work also. And the other thing also I wanted to share with you all is this is the best time for us to apply for funding and prepare top drawer proposals for upcoming any proposals. So because funding are a lot of funding are there, like industrial funding or whatever, we shouldn't look at the quantum. Even the amount is very small, but we should try to apply because we have a lot of times to write proposals now. So just to share experience, recently I got like a tin grant. The funding is not big money. It's only about like 10,000 they'll give, but I still applied because that also money, we can use that to buy some chemicals, whatever, and this will help us to get some partnership grant from the university also. So don't look at the quantum. Any funding opportunities are there, please go for it. The other things also we can do during this pandemic time is to do some effort to increase our online presence. When I say our online presence means here, all of us, we have like a Pablon. This is like a university policy for us to have the Pablon. So Pablon is a research idea, just in case some of you are not sure. We have a Pablon, we have a Google Scholar, we also got ORCID ID. So what we can do, we can go and clean up these things. We add our publications. Sometimes Google Scholar, they'll capture publication not related to us, we can do that. And last time when we published paper, we published the paper without the ORCID. So now we can go and search for our publication. Then this search engine can be used to add our publications there. Because this will be when other researchers from other universities, when search under our name, they have the variety of details. They can get our details from Pablon, they can get our details from Google Scholar, they also can get our details from the ORCID. So this will give us like a very good, like what we call like visibility for our research and also for our career. Then on top of that, we also can complete some professional tasks. The thing is like review articles. We receive many review articles. Last time we refused to review the articles because of a lot of work. So what we can do, we can take some assignment like review articles, books and proposal. These review articles not only added value for your Pablon and your KPI, at the same time, it also will encourage us to read other people's work and some latest development in our field. That's also like a good advantage. And the other important thing is networking. During this time, networking is very important for the researchers. So what we can do, we can email the author of an article you liked and let them know how much you enjoy the quality of the writing or the methodology for that research. So by writing these, we also can share our articles with them. So this one not only increase our citation, but will increase the networking. Like for example, just say recently there was a grant collaboration between Malaysia and Spain, Malaysia and France. When this kind of a grants get, then only I realize I don't have a collaborator from Spain and France, these kind of things. So it's better for us to have members or collaborators from different countries, so that any of this opportunity comes, immediately we can contact them. Then the chances for us to write the proposals will be really good. And the other thing is, one more thing I want to share here is getting to the someday list. When I said someday list means that these are things that our ambitious things, but we just don't have appropriate time to do it, but it's just slipping there. So what we can do, we can take this kind of the list and try to complete and all these things. The last one that I want to share here is regarding the policy. When we apply grants, especially the local grants, they always ask how our proposal related to the policies. So what we can do, especially researchers from the science background, so what we can do, we can take time to read the policies related to our research. So that will add a added value for our proposal when we submit for government agencies or also like other agencies. So these are the things that I would like to share with you all. If you all have more questions or more suggestions, we can discuss during the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much again, Professor Ramesh, for the interesting information that you shared with us, especially for the best practices during this unprecedented situation. And also you share that we need to find a suitable webinar. And also, if you got any opportunities, just go for it. Okay, don't wait. And also, please increase the networking. Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you very much for your valuable information as well. Okay, next, our last but not least panels for this session. I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati from Faculty of Built and Environment, from Faculty of Built and Environment, yeah? Okay, Faculty of Built Environment, okay, to share her experience and how she overcome all the challenges during this pandemic situation. Okay, Dr. Rosila, please, the floor is yours. Dr. Rosila, mute no.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Ahmad Zabidi for the introduction. Okay, first of all, I'm like Prof. Dr. Ramesh. I was told that I don't have to prepare any PowerPoints. So this is what just just talk to you, okay, without the any slides. Okay, let me share with you my background. Okay, I'm from the Urban and Regional Planning Department from the Faculty of Built Environment, and at the same time, I also hold a post at the Center for Civilizational Dialogue. Okay, so for IRG, okay, IRG research. Alhamdulillah, me and my sub-program leaders, who is Professor T.S. Surveyor, Dr. Azan Shah Ali, and also Dr. Zuwati Hasim from Faculty of Education. Prof. Azlan is from my faculty also. So we managed to do our training sessions with the community who are in Kampung Pulau Gajah, Kota Baru, Kelantan. Okay, we did that in April with all the the MCO's regulations very tight. Okay, we brought with us our RAs, and then we really had fun. Okay, so that was the last time we met each other physically. Okay, so it was fun to actually share your knowledge, because I'm from the social science background. So if you have interaction with your respondents, with your subjects, is so interesting. Okay, myself, we divide the group of participants into 3 groups. So 10 of each group, 10 persons. Okay, so my group mostly women. They are either housewife or business women. And Prof. Azlan's group consists of all the fishermen. Okay, and Dr. Zuwati's one is also interesting. Uh, More of the community background with uh, youngsters, youth, yeah, secondary school students. So we actually have fun, and then we integrated between among these groups. So we had integration. Okay, when we do this call to action, we teach them theory, and then they actually have practical sessions, presentations and so on. So they had fun, we had fun also. So we managed to gather all the data. Okay, when the MCO, the strict MCO, which started in June, yeah, we had hard time. I think every one of us really actually do meeting online, and personally, I really feel I'm burned out with this webinar, with web meeting and so on. Okay, so what I did was, for myself, I gave myself lessons. Okay, I go and study on how I can help the community to do better in their business, in their well-being. So yeah, I did my own learning sessions, something that different, but really have impact on my research. And also, okay, I think my other co-researchers also, not co-research, my sub-program leaders also will do the same thing. We concentrate on our publications, and then writing, and then we have classes, for 14 weeks, right? So it's still continue, life goes on. Okay, and then yeah, we had conversation through WhatsApp, yeah, basically those are the things that we do, because we have all the data. This is the time we analyze our data, and then we are thinking of having a physical visit sometime in October. Hopefully by that time, this you know uh, this pandemic has gone down, hopefully, inshallah. And so that we can actually have interview. Actually, I will be having, for my sub program, I will be having a meeting with them, my participants, online, um, next week, inshallah, next week. So yeah, we gathered data. Probably for other sub programs, they can also do the same thing. So we're going to have some sessions, interview sessions, so we can see whether they implement what we taught them, how to say, yeah, how successful are they, uh, practicing or applying the knowledge that we have shared with them. Um, so yeah, I think yeah, that's all that I can share with you. It's just that uh, we are in the process of applying for copyright for our modules. Okay, and then we actually have already filed copyright for. We have our own website. It's meant for circular economy. So yeah, I attended a few lectures on circular economy that really, give some info on what's going on in other countries, and then what are we doing in Malaysia. So yeah, those things need to be shared with other scholars and so on. Okay, and then yeah, basically those are the things. Yeah, that's all. Dr. Zabidi, I think. Yeah,
Okay,
that's all from me.
that's all, yeah. Okay, so thank you very much again to Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati. So very interesting topic that she discussed, and I mean Dr. Rosilawati discussed with us, because this is from the science social area. Because if you want to conduct study about science social, normally we will need to involve the field work. And the first word that I heard from the Dr. Rosilawati is about fun. Okay, so that means if you want to do something, but you do with the fun, so maybe we are really to do it as best as we can. Okay, so
Yes.
thank you very much again to share your experience with us. And yeah, before we go to the Q&A session, I just want to say thank you very much again to the four of our panelists, because first time I moderate a session. This is on time, because the time given to me from 3:40 to 4:20 to all panelists to present their experience and also how they overcome all the challenges. But we managed to on time, 4:20, we finish the presentation from all of the presenter or for all of the panelists. Thank you very much again, Professor Moy, Professor Ramesh, Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati, and also last but not least, Dr. Nashamimi. Okay. So now we go to the next session. What I mean is to the Q&A session. But before we start the Q&A session, I do hope that all the panelists on your camera and microphone, because this is only a casual sharing session, yeah? So it is not a formal session. So, and also for our fellow audience, if you want to ask something, please mention your name, and also from any faculty, just mention your faculty as well. And also you want to ask who's our panelist. Okay, so now I open to the session of Q&A. Please, our fellow audience, if you want to ask something, you can start the question from now. Okay, open for Q&A session. Please, any question from the audience? We got 137, around 137. Okay, our panelists ready to answer any question that you raise. Dr. Prof. Moy, Prof. Ramesh, Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati, and Dr. Nur Shamimi as well.
Hi, Assalamualaikum.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Salam, yes.
I'm Rosanna from Pharmacy, Faculty of Pharmacy.
Okay.
I would like to ask a short question to Dr. Nur Shamimi. How do you handle working from home with small kids around you? How do you handle the emotion, and also to to manage your time? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Rosanna. Very interesting question. Okay.
Yeah,
First
so
presenter and
I
first question
have
to you, Dr. Nur
answered.
Shamimi.
Yeah, so yes, that's a very interesting question. I think this is I think most of the mothers, if they have a little kids, toddlers, like my son here, they always want to stick with you. They always want to be with you whenever that you want to do your work from morning until late night, until you only have your own time when they go to sleep. So well, to tell you the truth, that it's not easy. It's not easy to handle situation because you have to juggle between your kids and your work at the same time, and especially if your work that requires of course a deadline, right? So sometimes you become so stressed. But I think now that we are in the third MCO, I try to get hang of it. So I think I managed to juggle between the kids, my time, and how to do my work at the same time. So if let's say that I think if you too stressed, then you cannot handle your work and you cannot handle your kids as well. So I always believe that, you know, if you feel that you so stressed and you cannot think about your work, then maybe you should go out, walk with your kids, you know, around your house, and play with them, have some time with them, and after a while they will understand that you have to work, and then you just talk to your kids, and they will understand. Hopefully they will understand. But to tell you the truth, it's not easy if you have these little kids. But I think if you see positively, you have the luxury of your time doing your work and your kids around you. Because before this, during the normal time, you go to work and you left your kids at the kindergarten or with your parents or whatsoever. But now you can do your work, and at the same time that your kids is around you. So you can see that your kids, they're growing up with you. You know, you do your work and your kids together with you. I think this whole situation, it is tough, but you have to look it positively. And I'm sure that, you know, if let's say that okay, maybe perhaps, okay, this week that you have a deadline to submit a grant application, for instance, yeah. But then okay, you have your kids always around you, but then you manage to submit the grant. So from there, you know that you're being productive, and from there, from this productivity, then it keep you moving forward and motivated at the same time. So I think that's how I do it lah. Even though that sometimes it's hard, sometimes well, just keep it positively. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Thank
Nasha
you.
Mimi,
Thank
for
you for
sharing
the
your
answer.
experience. Okay, thank you, Dr. Rozana as well. Yeah, yeah, this is extra challenges once you got a little kid with you. Yeah, but as Dr. Shamimi said, we need to look it as a positively, and of course, we can find the best way to handle all this situation. Okay, Dr. Shamimi, thank you very much again for the feedback. Okay, any other question? Dr. Rosila waiting for the question from the audience. Please, Prof. Ramesh and Prof. Moise.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, yes.
Ya, dah nampak?
Asrul, yeah, I think this is from Built Environment as well. Yeah, I know Dr. Asrul.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
please,
is
Dr. Asrul.
for Prof. Ramesh. Yeah, good afternoon, Prof.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, just like if possible, if you could share a bit more detail how you increase the productivity of the publication, please.
Okay, for publication,
Yeah,
there are two types of publication, as we know. One is a review article, the other one is technical articles. But the problem for us with the technical article is now we cannot go to the lab. So the students who already finished their work and already got the results, and they're waiting in line to start to write the papers, we can push them, and also we can work together with them to write the paper. But the other things to really can boost the publication now is review article. Just to share with my experience with you, for the last 1 year, if I take the number of review articles that I publish in the last 1 year, compared to the every year for the previous, since I graduated my PhD, last 1 year, the number of articles, the review articles that I produce is more. So what we can do, we can ask each one of our master's or PhD student to come up with the review articles. So we can either give them the title, or we can ask them to propose a title. Then we can work together with them online to get the outline of the review articles. Then we can even share with them some of the related papers, the reason, technologies used for that particular paper, then share with them. then that really can work to produce many review papers. Some of my students who said review articles are so difficult to come up, too difficult to write, surprisingly, even they also come up with a new review article. Especially those who are like just joined as a PhD student or master students. So one of the criteria is they also need to do the literature review to submit to the faculty. So what we can do, the extended literature review can make as a good review articles. So by doing this, we can really increase the number of publications.
Okay, just to extend that a bit, Prof. I think that is very good, excellent strategy. Do you at which quadrant of the WOS do you attack? Is it the HCI, the SCIE, or you know?
I go for all
Thank
like
you.
what do you call like Web of Science, ISI journals.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Asrul, for the
Initially,
question and also for the response.
we initially target for Q1 and Q2 ISI journal, but it's really find it difficult to publish in that. Then only we go for Q3.
Yes, Prof. I noticed that SLR are very difficult on Q1 and Q2. Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Asrul, any?
Sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much again, Dr. Asrul, for the question and also for the response from Prof. Ramesh regarding publication. So we can work with our student, especially for our postgraduate student, to ensure that we can publish even this situation. Okay, thank you very much again. And then next, any question? We open to any question again. Please grab this opportunity because it is not easy actually to get all these panelists with us. They spend their time with us this afternoon. So please do any question. Prof. Moy with us, Prof. Ramesh, Associate Professor Dr. Reslawati and Dr. Nasha Mimi. We got 100, more than 100 in this session. Or our panelists want to add anything? Please, we open.
Prof. Ahmad Zabidi, maybe I can
please,
add this question. So what I can add here, because I think his concern is about the Q1 and Q2. So I also can share this strategy. We need to go for quality at the same time. We also can maintain the quantity also. Like some of the things, like I mentioned earlier, like we have some papers initially, but it's not have the very interesting results, or not like a very what do you call like a high level of results. So these papers also can work out with that. So we can complete the paper. We can even send to like a Q3 or Q4 just to get some numbers also. So some of our good papers we go for Q1 and Q2. Some of the papers that we think is not so good, but we just put it aside. So what we can do, we can take the papers and we can rewrite the papers, because now the students will have more time. We can ask them to rewrite the papers. And another thing, recently I also noticed for articles, review articles especially, they don't want review articles like a collective of literature review. So they don't want that. So when we put all the literature review and we put like a collective data, they don't want that. So what we can do, we write the review articles, we get the collective, what do you call like a literature review. At the same time, for each section, we need to include or incorporate our opinion on that also. So now editors look more on our opinion on the subtopic itself. So when we do that, then the chances for us to publish in a higher impact Q1 and Q2 is higher. So this is what I learned from the review process that happened recently. One of the papers we submitted to Q1, initially the editor rejected, then he asked us to add our opinion, 2 cases like that. So after we put our opinion a lot in the papers, then he review again, then only he sent for the review process. So that also another strategy that we can work out on the review articles. Thank you.
Kalau macam tu Prof, nanti saya email Prof boleh ya? I sent a review SRR papers, but recently got rejected. So I sent also, but then got heavy comment. So maybe this is very good sharing session.
What you can do, you send me the paper together with the comment that they gave it to you. So I will look into the papers, then I will share with my strategy or my knowledge how to improve the paper. I can do that, no worries.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much again. Yeah, that's why this session is very essential for us, because we can raise any issue, and also we can see we from UM can work together, even from the different faculty. This is show that we are oneness actually. Okay, so thank you very much again, Prof. Ramesh, for the additional valuable information.
Important criteria for IRG.
Yeah, okay. So ada soalan from channel ya, from chat ya.
From the
Okay.
chat. Yes, Prof.
The chat, mana chat? Sekejap. Mana chatnya? Okay, we'll check the question from Dr. Lee Cheng ya. One of the suggested way is to write review paper. What is the suggestion for an early career researcher in a new field to get a review paper published? So any panelists want to respond to this question? Prof. Ramesh again?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Actually, just this is my opinion. It might be, I'm not sure whether it's wrong or not. So especially during this pandemic, even it's not a pandemic, whatever, we shouldn't set a mindset that this is an early career or late career or mid career. We shouldn't do that. So we must take ourselves, we are researchers, whether we are early career or we are in 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, whatever, we are all same, we are researchers. Because just to share the experience with you, even freshly graduated student who got a direct PhD under my supervision, the students only in one semester also can come up with a review paper. So if a student with a direct PhD can come up with a review paper, so for us to say early career, so I think we must come out from the mindset. It's all our mindset. I think all of us can do the work. It's not an issue. Just we try to focus, get the right topics. I think getting these review articles is not a problem. I think the only obstacle now is, the barrier is, we think that are in our early career. So if we say that, those who are going to retire, they might be thinking, I'm going to retire, so why should I write a paper? So you see, it's all the mindset. So I think we shouldn't think about that. We shouldn't think too much about our promotion. We shouldn't think too much about KPI. Just focus, enjoy what we are doing. I think that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Very positive. So I think Prof. Moy want to add something, please, or Dr. Shamimi. Prof. Moy, please, if you want to add, especially they think they are still young researcher, novice researcher. Yeah, and you got so vast experience in UM. So could you please want to add something?
I think there is no old or young. All researchers are the same. So actually, we should not have that mindset. Yeah. But I know that some people think that they are retiring. Why should they write? That is not the right way. So I know for younger staff, they may find it difficult to get the paper written and published. I think the next question is writing blog, right? I think I can address both together.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I have experience being a young researcher. So of course, the writing skill at that time is not as good as what I'm currently now. I think practice makes perfect lah. So even though there's writing block, we still need to write whatever that come into the mind. Now we are not typing with typewriter. We use a computer or laptop. We can actually cut and paste. So whatever that you think that come into your mind, you just write. You don't need to follow the section that the subheading that you have set. Maybe for certain subheading, you have a block, you cannot write. Then you write other parts that you can write better. You just write. Later, then you can rearrange them together again, and then it will make up the full paper. So yeah, even my students also tell me I sit in front of my computer and then it's all blank. I think just write whatever that come into your mind, write first, and then put a subheading there. Then when you have all the pieces together, you can reorganize them, and then you would get your full paper out. I think that should be the way. Practice makes perfect lah. I think there's no magic solution. I always told my student that whether you practice or not, I know, because it will make a difference if they have written many times or many word drafts, you know. So for even like for staff also, it's the same. So you need to really keep on writing and writing until you become good. Yeah, that's my experience.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Moy, for sharing your. Okay, Dr. Shamimi want to add, please. Then also we can see real experience how to handle this situation with a little kid. Okay, Dr. Shamimi,
Okay,
please.
so yeah, writing a review paper, it's tough. From my experience, it's tough because you have to read a lot, and at the same time, when you read, then you have to fish out which one that you want to put in your review paper. So I think the best way to start with a review paper, you try to start with write up a mini review instead of a full length review paper. Usually mini review, the references around 50 references, and the full length review paper around 100 and above, the references that we cite into the review paper. So I think when you start to write on the mini review, after a while, then I think you become okay to start with the full review. That's what I think, because I start with a mini review first. And at least until now, I also do the mini review as well, because it's really hard to write a really good review article unless that you read a lot and you keep yourself updated all the time. But I think this is the best time, since we are all quarantined at home. So this lockdown, we can use it to, revisit the bookmarks of the paper that we want to read. So we read the papers now, and then we can try to start to draft the mini review, for instance. But I think one more thing is that you need to have a draft. So you need to have an idea what kind of review that you want. Not what kind of review. What are the things that you want to write up for your mini review or review paper. So I think that is very important. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shamimi. This is real, yes. Actually, I just also want to call upon Dr. Rasilawati, especially in the science social. Any tips you want to produce more publication during this situation? Dr. Rasilawati, please.
Yeah, thank you, Associate Professor Dr. Zabidi. Okay, from the first question, Dr. Lee Cheng mentioned about the review paper. Probably, from the social science section, we have difficulties in writing review papers. But if you equip yourself with SLR technique meaning that you need to learn on how to write a good SLR paper. So in in science, they use this meta-analysis, but in social science, we go more on this systematic literature review. We use special technique like, for example, Prisma and so on. So if you can have this type of tools or skills to write paper based on this, yes, inshallah you can submit your paper to Q2 journals. It has been proven by one of my trainers. Okay, so it can actually be done for social sciences. It's not because sometimes like, for example, Dr. Ichen just now mentioned about he being the early the young lecturer, right? Because when I first joined UM, okay, when I first joined UM, I was told that I need to publish papers. You know what I did? I set myself okay, every year you have to present 4 papers to 4 conferences, and then at the same time you have to write papers. That's how I told myself. So how do I learn? Because no one trained me, because I came from the private sectors. What I did was I look at the papers and learn from how they wrote the papers. Okay, how they wrote the papers, and I try to imitate. Yeah, this is how I train myself, because no one, because that time that was in 2004 when I first joined that time nobody have this workshops, writing workshops. You can't find one. Okay, no one actually share their skills that time. I don't know, but that was what I faced, okay, during that time. So I learned myself. I look at how papers are being drafted, coming from private sectors. You have nothing, no research background. The one that I got research background was when I was when I did for my undergraduate and also my masters. And then my masters, I took my taught course master. So I did only a dissertation report, not a full length research. So no requirement for publication. So imagine myself being doing knowing zero, okay, zero in publication. Alhamdulillah, I managed to publish papers, even though it's not a good quality one. But like what Dr. Shamimi mentioned, you need to write mini review and so on. So I learned from there. But now you have so many references, you have many workshops. I don't think you have problems. And then now research grants are available for young lecturers. So you pick up even our daily activities also. You can actually pick up and write papers based on that. Yeah, that's my sharing, Associate Professor Dr. Zabidi.
Okay, thank you very much again for the encouraging words from all our panelists. This is up to us actually. Either we want to write, or we just publish or perish, or we just leave it. Okay, Dr. Asrul want to ask something, or I need to read?
Yes, I'd like to ask something,
Okay, Dr.
please.
Asrul. Okay,
Yeah,
please.
this is to Prof. Moy Fong. Yeah, I did apply a grant, so waiting for the final stage. Berdebar-debar. It's regarding apps development. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I'm sure you have gone straight the apps development. Do you figure out the algorithm first, or you want to do the wireframe first? I'm not sure. I mean, when you do
Uh,
the apps.
Actually, the technical aspect is contributed by Prof. Lu, the computer, the AI person. So I am a client to him. So actually the technical part is with him. When we applied for the grant, we already working on it for 2 years already. So it is already it's not a prototype, right? It is already going to be materialized. So I think that's why we got the grant, and then we could promise to deliver. So I know to develop an app take longer than that. So it depends on the 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 outcome that you promise. So we promise an app that is to be tested and validated in the market. I think that's why we got it. But the earlier 2-year work was from another grant, a smaller grant. Yeah. Sorry, I cannot tell you that because we already have that ready when we applied for the grant.
Okay, understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the response from Prof. Moy. Okay, and go next question. This is question to Prof. Ramesh from, I think, Dr. Zaridatul Aini. Hi, Prof. Ramesh. In terms of online meeting and supervision, you mentioned that you have several components, critical, recreational, also sharing new skill. How much time do you allocate per session so that it can be an effective one with your fellow postgraduate student? Yes, Prof. Ramesh.
Yeah. For this one, like I said, this one we do normally in our group meeting. So normally I will divide that like a three component. One is about the literature review, then the other one is a tutorial, and third one is I mentioned the recreational presentation. So the literature review, like I mentioned earlier, it's more like the students will review some papers, some good papers, and they make a presentation and share with the group members. And the tutorial is some learning about like a new method, about the new equipment or new characterization, something like that. The recreational presentation is something like anything, like a jogging or yoga or traveling, all these things. So each of these presentation will be like 15 minutes to 20 minutes. That's all. So you'll try to finish all the presentation and Q&A within 1 hour. And then the next 1 hour will be more to the problem they face, the deadlines, what are the pending work, what are our strategies to achieve our goals for the next month. So that will be discussed for another 1 month. So the idea will be about 2 hours. We can finish the group meeting with a very good output. But before pandemic time, we normally do the meetings before lunch hour. Then we'll put like a pool money. Then we'll have a good lunch also after the meeting. So it'll be a very nice session because during the lunch session also we will discuss about some research work, some fun things. So it's be like a more like family things. It's very interesting actually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Ramesh. I think we need to go to the final question, the last question from Dr. Rozana Osman. We will always to try to aim for Q1 and Q2 journals. However, it seemed like to publish in Q1 and Q2 journals to do not involve processing charge. To review process is more strict compared to paid journal. Is there any tips on how to increase the chance to getting published in Q1 and Q2 journals that do not impose page charge? Okay, so Dr. Shamimi or any our panelists want to respond? The Prof. Moy, anyone to respond to this? Whereas I need to pass to Prof. Ramesh again.
Yeah, I would like
yes,
to answer.
Prof. Moy. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, during these bad times, the funding from also reduced, and it is, I admit, it's more difficult to publish in high-ranking journal because the page charge that we can claim back from the university is less, and then we don't have so much money to pay, and our research grant is also reduced. We cannot use research grant to pay. So I think this is a weakness that I don't think it can be solved. The only way that we can solve is to do high quality research. So like for our public health research, the method, the study design, the sample size, all matters. You cannot do a more study with 200 participants, then you hope to publish in the Q1. It's very difficult. So I think to overcome this, and if you want to publish in high-ranking journal that is free, you can only do high-quality research. If it's not high-quality research, it cannot be published. I'm not saying that open access journal, poor quality work can be published, but it is slightly easier. It still need to be high-quality research. So yeah, that is my experience. I also stopped sending to open access journals because we cannot afford to pay for the page charge, especially with our currency. The exchange rate is so low. Our money is so small now. Ringgit is so small, and then once you convert, it's a very high. Can go up to 10,000 ringgit for the page charge, and university only give 2,000 to 3,000. So where do we pay the balance? So we are now sending to non-paying journal. So we start from the highest Q1, then reject, send to Q2, and then if not any ISI journal. Yeah, that is my what I'm doing now lah. I don't think that is a solution to this because money is involved, and then yeah, the research need to be of high quality.
Okay, thank you very much again for your advice, Prof.
Can I add one point?
Yeah,
on
Prof.
this?
Ramesh.
For this one, this also I can maybe just to share with you all. because the Q1 and Q2, especially for the papers to go from the editor's table to reviewer is a big challenge, because editor is the one like the first to vet. Then, like sometimes you send the paper in the morning, by the time lunch you come back, you get an email to say the paper got rejected. So these things happens. One strategy that we can do, make sure the title, your highlights, your graphical abstract, your abstract, plus your figures and the tables are done properly. So these are the things normally the editors look first. If our highlights must really, because if all the journals, ISA journals, the highlights, each highlights should be only like 85 characters. So within the 85 characters, we can put like 3 to 5 bullet points of the highlight. That itself must attract the readers. So that is where we really need to put a lot of effort. Sometimes what we do, we try to write a very good paper inside the results will be interesting, but we fail to focus on the highlights and graphical abstract because we think just requirement is just a requirement to submit the paper. So that's where we normally because I've discussion with some of the editors, they said these are the things, key points they really look into. So if we look carefully about these things, then of course certain quality of the papers is there. At least we can happily can say our papers at least undergo review process for Q1 and Q2. Luckily, if we got like a right reviewers, they might even accept our papers. Because sometimes even like a Nobel laureate also got papers rejected in Q1 and Q2. This all depends on the person who's going to review. So I advise all of the researchers, include myself, we pay more attention on the highlights, graphical abstract, the title, abstract, figures, table. The presentation is very important.
I would like to add another point. In order not for the editor to reject you immediately, I think the cover letter is very important. And many a time my student thought that it is just a letter, right, formality, but actually the letter, the letter to the editor when you submit, it is good that you highlight the strength of your paper, the novelty of your findings and all, and why it should be published. So I think that is very important, which is quite often neglected. The letter to the cover letter, I think that is the point I want to add. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Prof. Ramesh and Prof. Boy for sharing a very excellent point here.
Just kidding.
So,
I do have questions. Okay, just taking
Prof.
up from what
Prof. Saiful, please mute your microphone. Prof. Saiful. Prof. Saiful, could you please mute your microphone?
So how did it work?
Oh, you want to share something with us? No? Okay, so actually we are going to end up our session, but before that, I want to give opportunity to Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati and Dr. Nur Shamimi. If you want to add something, please.
Yeah, all right. I totally agree with Prof. Moy and Prof. Ramesh regarding this Q1 and Q2 if you want to publish into the high tier journal. Yeah, like Prof. Moy said just now, the cover letter is very important because if you can write a very convincing cover letter, then the editor will somehow, get the editor become very interested to your paper. So you write a quality good paper and very good convincing cover letter. Usually if you can write this a very convincing cover letter, the editor will what you call that? Yeah, you will get more chances for the editor to vet your paper and then will pass further to the reviewer. That's what the Nature paper usually what they did is they always look for the cover letter first and then to your paper. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Dr. Nashamimi. Yeah, Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati, you want to add something, please?
Yeah, another thing to add on to the other scholars, I would advise that when you want to write papers, make sure that you use something some analysis that's not that's not just the normal one, but you try using methods that not normally used, maybe you have some creativity in analyzing the data, because once you use new technique, so journals of Q1 and Q2 would be responding a highly, your paper will be a highly accepted in the journals because of the new technique of analysis. So a technique of analysis is very important. Yeah. Thank you. That's
Okay,
from.
thank you very much again. So, for my fellow audience, this is the time that we have this afternoon. So, before we end up this session, I would like to wrap up this session by emphasizing that although we face various challenges in conducting research during this pandemic, but our determination, our creativity will help us to overcome all these challenges. Okay, my fellow audience, finally, we come to the end of this session. We would like to thanks again to our panelists this afternoon, Professor Moy Fong Ming from Medicine, Professor Rameshti from Science, Associate Professor Dr. Rosilawati from Environment, and also last but not least, Dr. Nur Shamimi, also from Medicine. So we got so many tips from this session. We do hope that we can try to practice, try to do, take action on based on the what I mean is based on the tips that's given to us this afternoon. Okay, so I would like to thank you very much again to our esteemed panelists for the informative and interesting talk, and to our audience so for the active participation. So hopefully the sharing experience session will be beneficial for all of us, and thank you for your attention and for your participation for this session. So I apologize for the inconvenience or for any mistake throughout this session. So that's all for this afternoon session. So thank you very much again. See you next time. Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you.
welcome, Dr.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.